Hey there, and welcome back to the Etsy Seller Podcast. I'm your host, Cody McGuffie, and today we're talking with full-time e-commerce seller and entrepreneur, Andrew Erickson. Andrew is a great friend of mine. I've known for many, many years, and a super successful seller that has built million-dollar brands online via Amazon FBA, also leveraging Etsy in many ways. In today's show, Andrew shares tons of insight to building online companies, but specifically, he shares a strategy that he used to quickly get his Etsy shop reviews from 0 to over 30 reviews in just a couple weeks. Highly relevant for anyone just starting their Etsy shop or struggling to kind of get their shop kind of in gear, kickstarted. So this is a part 1 of our 2-part series with Andrew. So after this, make sure that you tune in to part 2. Super awesome episode for you guys. So in this podcast, it's always brought to you by EverBee. EverBee is the Etsy growth tool that helps Etsy sellers grow their business by finding winning products and getting you more sales. With EverBee, you can see the revenue of all the products on Etsy. You can see how many monthly sales a listing is actually getting. You can see the tags they're using to actually drive their SEO to get those sales. We show you the keyword search volume of those specific keywords that people are actually typing on Etsy. So you can understand what people are actually searching for on Etsy, then you can actually understand what they're actually buying on Etsy. And then you go and make products that kind of serve them in that way. It's a tool you guys need to be using to grow your Etsy business. So sign up for free, everbee.io. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Super happy to have you here, bro. It's special to have you on my podcast because I was on yours a while back and that was super fun. We've obviously known each other for many years now around e-commerce, where it's where it started, or real estate is where it started. But the point is, e-commerce is what we're talking about today. How are you, bro?
I'm great, man. Thanks so much for having me, Cody. It's been fun. You came on my podcast, which is the Amazon Conversations podcast. I mostly sell on Amazon. We also have a pretty big Etsy following store too. But it's great to have a podcast swap. So I'm super happy to be here, Cody.
It's cool, man. There's so many things that you're doing right now, right? When it comes to entrepreneurship, your main bread and butter has been Amazon, FBA specifically. Yes. But you didn't start there. You actually started before that. You told me a cool story about Etsy, actually before Amazon FBA. Was that right?
Yeah. So we really scaled up on Amazon just because there's more traffic there. I started on Etsy. It was a great platform. I loved it. I still have it's still warm in my heart, the Etsy platform, the Etsy community. So much nicer. Everyone's nicer. The sellers, the buyers, everyone's nicer on Etsy. Amazon's scary. But I actually started, this is 6 or 7 years ago, which feels like a century ago in internet time. I started on Etsy. I handmade a bunch of wooden maps. They are beer cap maps. So it's a thin piece of wood in the shape of a map, USA, California, Texas, whatever. It had holes in them that held beer caps. Weird niche product. A lot of people who aren't into craft beer think it's really stupid. That's okay, because our core audience of craft beer drinkers loved them. And so we started with that. I handmade everything myself, which I know almost every Etsy seller does that. Handmade everything myself.
Print on demand now is becoming a thing, but I'm with you. Yep.
Sure. Yeah. And I had a little sedan and I lived in a little tiny condo in sort of the beachy downtownish area of San Diego, California, where you also live, Cody. Yep. And I would go to Home Depot, buy an 8-foot piece of wood, a plywood, like 1/4-inch plywood. And I would just use twine and I'd wrap it to the top of my car with twine, my sedan, with just string. And very awkward because it's about the size of the car, the piece of wood. And I take it to machine shop in San Diego. There's a machine shop. It's sort of like a gym where you pay a monthly membership, but you get, instead of workout equipment, it's woodworking equipment. And I would go to this place and I cut out the thing. I use this high-powered laser to make the super detailed map. And then we started selling these maps, and they really took off after getting some reviews and hitting it hard.
That's so cool, man. That's such a cool story. And I can relate on so many levels. When you say take off, what does that mean? Numbers wise, or how do you measure that? What does that mean for somebody?
Yeah. I should just look up the actual numbers.
It's okay. It's okay. But are we talking $50,000, $20,000?
So we, let's see here. So I started in October. So I started in Q4, which was just the right time to start for this product because it's very giftable. I mean, you think about it, it's kind of like a dude who likes craft beer. Sure. It's a new kind of novelty product, and it's all handmade, so people love it for Q4 time. We were selling 300 units in
Awesome.
Q4 at like $40 a pop. What is that, $15,000 or something in
So
my
for like,
first 3 months on Etsy?
yeah, which is insane, right? It's like you're starting from literally nothing, from scratch, like zero reviews, zero sales, zero credibility, zero trust with any audience. Basically an idea, sounds like, and you have whatever amount of sales, 300 sales. Like that's insane. And obviously that's where it just began. It just kind of began for your e-commerce stuff. And skipping forward a little bit more, you started learning more about like e-commerce in general. You got into this Amazon. I don't want to spend too much time on Amazon just because all of our audience is mostly Etsy sellers. But real quick though, like tell us real quick, high level, what have you done since then starting on Etsy? And then when you moved to Amazon, what have you done in Amazon world?
Yeah, well, we expanded out. I ended up hiring people in San Diego to start making the stuff for me. We then expanded out to Amazon. Still had a really good presence on Etsy, and we ended up doing. I guess the peak we were doing about 400,000 a year revenue of the beer cap maps. They went into wooden shelves also, and just I love wood. I don't know if you guys are watching the video. I have like a wood map behind me just because I just love wood and all the stuff. I'm like super into it. So we went into wooden shelves as well, jewelry shelves. So completely different avatar. Kind of a millennial woman was our avatar, and we ended up getting up to $2 million a year in sales, both Amazon and Etsy combined, with majority of that coming from Amazon, but still a large, I mean, 6-figure income on Etsy. That was amazing. That was all that. And then we actually sold that company and we started a new company selling wooden toys.
Amazing. Okay, cool. You have this idea. You started in your garage and did all the labor yourself. And
not only did I start my garage, it was a shared garage because I had roommates at the time and I lived in a condo and it's parking and garage space is so limited. So I'd ask my roommates, please let me just give your keys to me and I'll move your cars out of the garage, put them in the street. And it's in San Diego, so like we had to park like 4 blocks away because that's where we live, and parking's a pain. Then I would do all my work in the garage, and then I'd package everything up, put it on the doorstop, and then drive my roommates' cars back into the garage.
Crazy, dude. Yeah, seriously. And this is just like part of the journey, right? And then you sell this. So you build this brand, $2 million a year in revenue. You sell this brand for obviously a high amount of dollars, right? Which is amazing. And congrats on that. And then you start this new thing now. And do we want to talk about that a little bit? You launched on Etsy kind of just rarely recently. And where you kind of started over again, you're already selling on Amazon. It's not, my understanding is that you're already selling on Amazon. You already have that game figured out fully, but you're like, let's tap into Etsy market because this product kind of aligns with that audience, right? Talk us through. A lot of our sellers are right there in that phase where they're like, they have 0 reviews, 0 sales, 0 credibility on Etsy. They have this maybe idea, or maybe they're just starting out with no ideas and they're trying to figure out something. But the point is they have 0 sales, 0 reviews. How do you get that first sale? How do you get those first reviews? Like, how did you do it?
So it takes time to make money, right? You need to spend 3 months, 12 months, 18 months not turning a profit. And it depends on what you're trying to build. If you're trying to build $300 a month income, kind of doing a little something on the side, you can do that pretty quick. That's okay. If you're trying to make what I consider to be like kind of a median income, professional income, $50,000 a year is kind of like an American median income. You can't do that in a month. That usually takes 3, 6, 9 months of kind of like churning before you can get that kind of profit. But it's good. If you do a good job, you can absolutely replace kind of like a standard American income, especially for stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads, whatever people, maybe someone who has kind of a slower day job that they're supposed to be working, but they're actually doing their Etsy thing.
Yep.
That's cool. You can totally make a full-time income if you kind of dedicate that time and energy over those 6-9 months. What was your question? Getting started.
Yeah, I appreciate that, by the way. And I agree with most of that. We can talk more about that stuff later. But okay, 0 reviews, 0 sales. We all know that we need reviews, we need sales to get more sales. But like, how do we get them? So like you started this shop with nothing, maybe a product, right? At this point, how did you get them?
So let me tell you the 2 different ways I started the shop and got it running to the point where we were doing over $1,000 a month pretty quick. Quick meaning inside of a month or 2, right? Yep. Those 2 ways. The first one, when I was really strapped and hustling and didn't really have any like marketing chops yet. I was the very beginning of my journey.
Brand new to e-commerce at this point.
Brand new. I'm like, I have an engineering background. I have a math degree. Like I'm not a marketing person. I'm not whatever. I'm like, I can take pretty pictures and I can make things. Like those are my things. How do I figure this thing out? Right.
Okay.
The big thing was just scraping and scrapping and asking and begging and pleading for reviews.
Okay.
Reviews, I think, are one of the most valuable assets in your company. And you want quantity. You want a large number of reviews. You have one, people say, oh, I have a quality review. I have 3 quality reviews. Like, no, that sucks. You want like 10, 20, 30 reviews, and then get 1 or 2, 3 quality reviews, right? So really just having social proof. You have that social proof of like 10, 20, 30. The first way I did it was I just spent a lot of time in the Etsy community. I had friends buy my product and leave reviews. I don't know if that's why I don't do that anymore, but I did do that back in the day.
I think it's totally okay and ethical as long as like the people get value out of that product. And I think it's okay, right? Like Etsy, I think is pretty common. Don't quote me on that, right? Anybody? I'm sure there's maybe something written up, but point is like people sell to their friends all the time on Etsy. So I think it's totally okay.
Yeah.
I know Amazon is basically like not okay, right? So that's
not okay on Amazon.
That's why you're saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't do that on Etsy anymore just because the scale.
Gotcha.
Where we're at. I've already had all my friends buy all my stuff already a long time ago, and I've already exhausted that market like years ago. So I just stopped doing it. I need to figure out other techniques to do it outside of that. So honestly, hanging out in the Etsy communities worked really well. I would just ask people, critique my listing. What do you think? What's this thing? Whatever. And people in the Etsy community love buying stuff on Etsy. They're like the best people to buy stuff. And so, and also people in the Etsy community have great things to sell. And we're like, cool, I love your thing. You like my thing. Let's do a swap thing. Right. That worked out really well. So that kind of community led thing, also on a lot of Facebook and Reddit forums. We were sending beer cap maps. So in the kind of craft beer community, just participate in those communities and you get some extra sales there. And then
real quick on that
relationship.
Real quick on that. That's like super key. I want to unpack that a little bit. So you're thinking about your avatar, the person that you're going to be selling to, which is beer cap maps in the first case. And you're like, you ask the question to yourself, it sounds like, I'm putting different words on it. Where do these people hang out? That's what you're asking. Where do these people hang out? Almost like it's a freeway, right? And like that freeway over there is full of like beer people talking about beer, right? And you need to go place your sign in the middle of that freeway or right next to that freeway, right? Going where they're hanging out. And that's what you're doing here, it sounds like, right?
Yep. Love it.
Perfect.
That's a great.
There's a bunch of different kinds of freeways. There's like, it doesn't have to be like Reddit. That could be a freeway. A Facebook group can be a freeway. It could be on Etsy community something, right? It could be an EverBee Facebook group or it could be literally anywhere. Just have to understand where are these people hanging out. And I think that's what you're doing. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
And then, so that's kind of getting people to buy the thing. Now, from a sale gives the opportunity for a review, right? So you cannot get a review if you don't make the sale. Right. So we have to get sales first. Okay. Now from the review, I hand wrote a postcard. Every single thing I did, I hand wrote in my terrible penmanship, sorry to be sexist, but generally men do not have great penmanship, shoot me if you want, whatever. Okay. But really it was a legitimate postcard. I went down to the San Diego beach thing, the walkway thingy, whatever. I bought a bunch of San Diego postcards and I just hand wrote a thing saying, hey, Jim, thank you so much for buying my thing. Like, you're really helping my dream come true. I'm starting the store. I would really appreciate a review. Just being really heartfelt, really going for the ask, right? And then once I got those 20 reviews, 15, 20 reviews, the store really took off. And that's when we started doing hundreds of sales a month, or 100 to 200 sales a month.
I love it. Okay. So that's what you were doing. And that's such an awesome strategy, by the way. It's something that's been around for a while now at this point. This was like kind of like newer for you at the time because that was years ago now, right? There's some cool, and I really want to get into this too, your next strategy, which is even better, I think, right? Let's talk about that's what you did. Let's talk about what you did recently with your newer shop.
Yes. Okay. So that's if you're really in the hustle and grind and you're like, okay, I just started. I'm trying to figure this thing out. Like, how do I do it? I don't have a lot of capital. I don't have a lot of expertise. Just go hustle and grind in those communities and go for the ask. Always go for the ask. Always go for the ask. Right. Okay. Now, if we're trying to do a little bit bigger at scale and we're not using our friends and family and we don't want to spend 4 hours a day in Facebook communities, kind of like shilling a little bit, shilling in a nice way, but you are right. What we did, so we have an audience that we built, email and Instagram, and we're actually starting to really grow on TikTok a lot too. TikTok's really fun. That's if you're looking into it, TikTok's great. That's a new like big kind of virgin territory area. What we did is we said, hey, here's a digital product. We sell our wooden toys, are education based. We said, here is a counting guide. Here is a accounting guide targeted
PDF,
at
like
our avatar.
It's like a PDF or a digital download, or what is this thing?
Yeah, PDF. We actually went and bought a bunch of stuff on Teachers Pay Teachers, right? Because that's our avatar, is kind of that like kind of home school teacher person, right? We re-edited them. So we took content, rejiggered it, redid it, right?
Maybe somehow turned it into like your own, made it more unique. But you took you basically took the ideas, you made it 20% better and more for your audience.
Yeah, and no copyright violation. Like I always say, like if you're going to write a science fiction book or a fantasy book, read Harry Potter, read Lord of the Rings, read Game of Thrones, and then just mush them together. There's dragons, there's dwarves, there's magic wands. Like those are consistent trolls. Those are consistent.
Nailed it, man.
Right?
That's cool. I appreciate you saying that. Like, don't copy. I hope nobody takes this like go and copy something. That's not what nobody's about that here. Right. So that's super key. So I'm happy you said that. Perfect.
So now we took this guide and we put a lot of effort into it. We took these 4 or 5 different guides that were 50 to 100 pages long. We created our own 50 to 100 page thing. We put a lot of time and effort into it and made it really nice. We're selling it on our Etsy platform, our Etsy store for $10. And we're making sales on it. I mean, it's nice, an instant digital download. Like there's no cogs, there's no shipping. It's nice, right? Great margins, but it's kind of hard to sell something like that. What we did is we went through to our audience and we said we are having a crazy flash sale. If you buy on Etsy, it is $1. So the cheapest we could possibly make it. I think it was like 85 cents or something. There's a limit. Whatever the cheapest was it could possibly be, we said this is the cheapest it ever will be. This is not a joke. This is not a like, it's 20% sale, but it's always a 20% sale. This is by far the cheapest it'll ever be. And we blasted hard. And we got as many people who would listen to see our message. We sent our email list, our Instagram, mentioned it on Instagram stories, Instagram live, Facebook live, all this whatever stuff. So we're having a crazy flash sale for 3 days. We ended up selling like 60 of those, right? $1 a piece. Now the cost, you guys know it's 20 cents plus. So you're
gonna basically get 87 cents out of $1. Yeah.
If that, 50 cents,
whatever it is,
or maybe less. It was really small. So we made all the energy we put into it. We made $30, not a lot, right? But then we asked those people for reviews. Please review, please review, please review. We said it in a very nice way. We were fairly like, go for the ask, right? So we had like a 3 little message system. It was like
you sent this. Okay. You're going to talk to me about the system. I was actually going to ask you about that. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So three messages, and really push hard to get those reviews. And this is the beginning of our store, right? So we got those 60 sales, and then we got about 50% conversion on that. Review conversion. So you got 50 review conversion. You got 30
reviews out of the 60 sales.
Yeah, 25 to 30 reviews. So 50% conversion rate.
Which, real quick on this, is like, that's actually awesome, by the way, because EverBee, we actually show review ratios for shops, right? So you could actually look at any shops that, closest to you or competitors or whatever, you can actually see the review ratio. And typically it's around 17%. So or let's say 20% on a good day, right? That means you almost like tripled that, or definitely doubled that, like just by doing this initiative, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. And so now our store that had 3 or 4 reviews on it, because it's brand new. This is, last year when we did this, that store now has 30 reviews on it. And again, we have some quality reviews, but we had a lot of quantity. So we had those 2 or 3 or 4 quality reviews, but we now have that padding of 30, 40 reviews on our account. And that's when it really took off. So from when we did that strategy, the year, or I guess the store had been open for almost a year. We'll just say a year to make the math easy. Almost a year. Our traffic and conversion and revenue the next 6 weeks equaled the previous year after that.
Awesome, man. Okay. So this is important, right, guys? For anybody listening to understand this, is reviews are important, because when you start a shop, you have zero trust, zero credibility with the shoppers, right? There's no reason you're going to get that sale if there's another product that's similar to yours. So the whole idea is that Andrew Erickson just basically eliminated that problem, right, from the whole equation. Now it's not about trust and credibility anymore. He solved that. Now it's a matter of just like other stuff, right? Image is good, pricing is good, all the other important stuff to e-commerce. But now that's not even the question anymore. And now his conversion rate, and we could talk about that next, is like that thing probably bumped up now because now you're trustworthy, right? So anybody landing on your shop is more willing to actually convert to a sale. Is that correct?
Yeah, I actually didn't even look at the conversion rate. I'm sure it's better. I didn't look at it. All I know is the traffic went up substantially.
Oh, okay. Well, that's even better. I mean, that's just as good or better, right?
So whatever, all the
metrics
happen? We looked at, we looked at the previous year, and then that 6 weeks past that strategy, just our traffic increased, our sales increased. Actually, I guess our conversion rate went up a little bit because we had more sales compared to the traffic. So yeah, I guess our conversion rate did go up.
Cool.
But
the traffic went up. Does that mean because Etsy must have been pushing it harder because of you were more trustworthy to Etsy, which actually makes a lot of sense too, right? Why wouldn't Etsy do that?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I should probably investigate that and see what, see like maybe because the reviews that led to conversions then led to rank.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
I love it. Okay, cool. Well, I don't want to like make this extreme long episode, and I know it easily can be. But what we'll do is, for anybody listening, we'll record another episode with Erickson, and we'll be talking about some other cool stuff on Etsy. So stay tuned for that one. Real quick, Erickson, to wrap up, can people like find you anywhere? Can people like learn from you? Like, do you have anything where can people like reach you if they want to reach out?
Sure. Yeah. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to just see fun pictures of me. That is the Andrew Erickson on Instagram. I answer all my DMs on Instagram, so you can DM me there if you want to kind of get in my personal inbox. Also, you can follow me if you want to listen to more Amazon related stuff. And we also talk about a lot of e-commerce and building teams and marketing and stuff like that. More Amazon focused than Etsy. I have a podcast called the Zon Con Podcast. It's short for Amazon Conversations. And actually, Cody was on there talking about how EverBee is an amazing tool. And that episode came out, I won't say
a long time ago,
summer last year.
Yeah, a while ago.
Yeah. So that's the best place.
Awesome. And I'll link to all that in the show notes. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Love it. Thanks so much, Cody.
All right, man. See you.